Joined now by, delighted and excited to be joined by a Vikings right tackle, Brian O'Neill. Let's hear it for him. Brian, be honest, have you ever heard of the Common Man program before? Have you ever listened to the show? Do you have any idea who I am?
No.
I didn't think you did. No, that's okay. I wouldn't listen either, and I haven't listened to my show for a long, long time. Now, let me ask you a question. If you don't know about me, I don't have a real good bedside manner. I mean, I just call it as it is. So, when you were drafted by the Vikings, second round, right?
Yep.
This latest regime hasn't had a real good history in drafting offensive linemen. Did you think, man, what does that say about me? Am I really not going to be any good? Did you think that momentarily? Because this franchise hasn't drafted many really good offensive linemen in a long time, and it sounds like you're pretty good.
Well, I certainly didn't think that at the time because I didn't know.
Right.
But I wasn't going to let that be part of, how I go about my business or what I think about myself or the group that I work with.
Yeah.
We've made some progress. We really have.
Boy. Yeah, you have.
And hopefully we can have some great progress these next couple weeks.
I think it was Von Miller.
Yes.
Von Miller said you're the best right tackle in pro football. Is that what he said? Best right tackle in pro football? Are you aware of what Von Miller said?
Yeah, we had a joint practice with them for a couple days.
Okay.
And that was a really cool experience for me and our group because I grew up watching a guy like Von win Super Bowl MVP and be one of the best players in the NFL for a long time. So being able to go against him in not a game setting, but consecutive days of practice was I think a really cool experience for me. And he's a Hall of Fame player and a great guy, so it's pretty cool.
Well, without being, I'm not trying to get you to brag or anything, but do you feel like you're doing a really good job? Have you been getting better and better? And do you think I'm pretty good at what I do? I'm a good lineman. And I'm not asking you to brag about yourself, but I'm sure you must have confidence that you're fitting into the NFL pretty well.
Yeah, no doubt. You never want to think that you've arrived, but I am playing with confidence right now, and I'm confident in our group, and I think our whole group is playing with confidence, and we're playing well, and I'm a lot less nervous going into certain games at this point in time than I was, say, a year or two ago. So it's always a work in progress, though. Before
you came on the air, we were talking just briefly before you came on, and I said, how are things going? You go, things real well. I go, a couple more wins would be nice, right? The team hasn't left themselves much margin for error with in the win and loss column, right?
Yeah, no doubt. There was 4 games left. Got to win them all. Got to win them all to get where we want to go. But you can't do that unless you win this week. But might not be a lot of margin for error, but it's been probably fun to watch if I had to bet.
Well, I've said that every week on Monday. I come back and I say, I was entertained again. I mean, every game has been up and down, lead changes, highs, lows, nail-biting, edge of your seat. Hasn't always ended up exactly how you wanted them to. Cardinals game, Bengals game, but you've had the Carolina game. The Lions game I know was bad too, but you won the Green Bay game. Is it as exciting for you and as nerve-wracking for you as it is? Because I know the fans, I hear about it when they call in or send emails. Is it as nerve-wracking for you out in the field?
Absolutely. Watching that 4th down play the other night when Harry broke up the pass to win the game, we were looking at each other like, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
But it's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. And, we have this. We go through the same emotions as fans do at home. Watching situations like that for sure.
The offensive line has been much maligned. They've been criticized not just early this year, but throughout several years. Either not providing enough protection, not opening up holes. Recently, though, the offensive line has been playing much better. I would say with the last, what do you think, tend to be 3, 4 games, 5 games? Offensive line have been playing much better. Do you as a player know when the line as a whole is playing well, not playing well? Do you guys talk about this? And do you feel like that the line is starting to gel now?
Yeah, I think we know when we're playing well and when we don't play well. And then also we know when you guys think we're playing well and when we don't. And it sometimes doesn't always match up.
Right.
But the idea is that you're never arrived and that you always have room to go. But, yeah, I think we've done a lot of good things. Could we be better? Yeah, absolutely. But I think one of the PR guys told me a stat the other day after the game was that we set a franchise record for the amount of games in a single season without allowing a sack this year. So that doesn't mean anything moving forward, but
right.
It's still there's progress and we're confident and we're going to continue to get better.
I bet the quarterback's appreciative of that, not being sacked. Right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, what is it like playing a position in which if you do poorly, people talk about it, and if you do well, people... Like even after the Steelers game, the next day people were like, man, did Dalvin Cook look great last night. And granted, he's one of the best running backs in football, but I was watching it going, well, he had holes that I could have ran through if I was playing running back
Well,
that
let's
day.
not get carried away.
Well, not quite as well as Dalvin, but I could have gained a few yards. What's it like just being in a position in which, you're only talked about when you do poorly?
I don't really know. I try not to listen to it when we're getting talked about, but every position on the team, every role in the organization is going to face criticism and face a lot of adulation and congratulations when they do well. So that's just the nature of the business, and that's what comes with playing football, and it's still worth it.
Is this the worst thing an offensive lineman can hear? Holding, number 75, 10-yard penalty. That will be 1st and 20 for the Vikings. And then the camera on TV has to focus in on you as you stand there, and everybody's going, he's holding. That's got to be the worst feeling of all time, right?
Yeah, and then they're probably putting the camera on you. Watching your reaction.
Oh, yeah,
Try to
absolutely.
act cool, but you're really not.
Yeah.
How do you know what's a hold and what's not a hold? Because I watch a lot of offensive line where it seems like you're grabbing the jersey and you're like, well, that could be. They do the old cliche of that. You could call it holding on every play. Like, how do you know what what's gray area? What's the line that you're crossing to whether it's a hold or not?
I go off of whether or not the referee calls it, but you can get away with a couple more than you think.
Do they? I've always heard this too. Tell me if you can confirm this. Late in the game, they'd rather swallow their whistle and keep their flag in their pocket that you can maybe get, unless it's blatant, you can probably get away with it a little easier later in the game, or is that not true?
I haven't found that to be the case,
Okay.
but I don't ever feel like I don't ever want to get to a point where I feel like, I can hold a little bit. Like,
Right.
I don't ever want to really put that in my head, to be honest.
Let me ask you this and be honest with me. In your mind, you've never held anyways, right? You've never held, right? I mean, when they call it and you're going, what are you talking about? I've never held a guy in my life.
I've definitely held.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, my guess is you've held more times without getting caught than you have with getting caught then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
Christian Darrisaw, a young rookie on the other side of the line. You kind of look at yourself as, all right, I'm the veteran guy now. Do you feel like you're a little bit of a mentor to a guy like that, or do you just kind of let him do his thing?
I think I try to take it as much as he wants my input or wants my help. I definitely let him know that I'm here for him and that I'm with him. My locker's next to him. We talk all the time. We have a really good relationship. But when he got here, I wasn't like, hey, you follow me. I don't really think that's a natural way to go about things because nobody did that for me. You kind of just learn to watch and learn to build relationships. And the better relationship you have with somebody, the more likely is you're going to want to have a good relationship with them and work with them. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We have a great relationship, and he's got a bright future, works hard, he's very smart. He's extremely physically talented. He's going to be a really good player.
Our guest here at Shields is Minnesota Vikings right tackle Brian O'Neill. Vikings have 4 games remaining in the season. Monday night against the Chicago Bears. You'll hear that game on this radio station. Coverage will begin at about what time? 5 o'clock?
What time's the game at?
It's a 7:20 start.
I believe they'll probably do 5:30.
We'll do a 5:30 start on that game.
I haven't even thought that far ahead.
And he's only thinking one game ahead, too.
Yes.
He's thinking about the Chicago game, and none other than that, we've got that established. And now that you've been in the league a few years, are there certain players that you have to square off against that you go, wow, I'm really going to have my hands full, that you know it's going to be, not to diminish anybody else's talents, but you just go, this guy's going to be a handful. Are there a couple of different players out there that you find are the best people that are on the other side of the ball from you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's guys who, the first couple plays, and even going into the game, this guy's going to bring it, and you got to bring your A game.
You got any names?
One of them is number 96 for the Bears, Akeem Hicks.
Okay.
He's pretty good. He's been really good for a long time. I have a lot of respect for how he plays the game.
Yeah. Are there any tricks to the trade? Maybe you don't want to reveal them, but do you learn thing about Hicks? Go, if I'm going to be successful, I need to do this or do that or the other thing, or do you just go in there and say, let's just damn the torpedoes and see what happens?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of got to know, certain guys are going to talk smack, some guys aren't. Whether or not you play into it or not, things like that, little things.
Oh, there's some smack talking going out there, huh?
A little bit here and there, but
do you give it back?
only if it's in defense.
Okay, so you don't initiate it.
No.
You Your alma mater was getting some love last night on the Monday night broadcast. I don't know if you watched it all, but with Aaron Donald and James Conner, and both of them were outstanding in the game last night. You did not. Did you go to school with Connor? Did you play with him?
I did, yeah.
You played with Connor, but Aaron Donald was before you. But do you have any relationship with Aaron Donald at all, or did you pick guys to talk to each other?
Yeah, I was with James for 3 years in college, and then Aaron is around the facility all the time. The facility's named after him. He lives in Pittsburgh and still trains at Pitt. So when I got there as a young guy, he was there training every summer, and then one training camp he was in a holdout, and he was there all throughout training camp up till September. So have been exposed to him a lot, and I know both of them well, and it's exciting to see them do so well.
I have another question for you. Ben Lieber, former Viking linebacker, was on with Barrero yesterday, and he asked him about, you play in Chicago, it's on regular grass, you play at home, it's on turf. He asked if that makes a big difference. Lieber basically said, it never mattered that much to me. Do you find it a difference? Is it easier or more difficult to play whether you're playing on AstroTurf or regular grass?
Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, see? I think that's overrated. I've always kind of thought that's a little bit overrated.
Well, it just seems like, and you've probably seen a little bit of this through your history. Last year, you guys played well at Chicago, but it seems like every Vikings game I've seen at Chicago against the Bears, there's something about that field that just slows things down and just kind of mucks everything up.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like if we're going to be slowed down a little bit, the O-line's probably the last people to be affected by a fast versus slow playing surface. I just got to stay in front of the guy.
Would you, okay, here's the one they always say. They always say that a lineman would rather run block than pass block, because run block, you're jumping off the ball and going forward. Pass block, you got to stand up. There's a difference in the technique, obviously. Do you prefer one or the other? Would you rather do a running game or a passing game?
I would rather do whichever one's working that day. Whichever one is going to give us the best chance to finish that drive and score points.
Do you find it easier, though, to be more aggressive and be a run or a block for a run than a pass, or not?
Yes and no. I think a lot of it depends on the game and how the game's going. Things are dictated within the game a lot.
Right.
So some days, you're going to be able to hold up in protection and throw the ball over the lot, and then there's other games where, hey, we're going to try to run the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
And you want to do what's working.
Yeah.
I like doing what's working, to be honest.
Does Zimmer talk to you ever individually during a game? Does he ever come up to you and said anything, or does he pretty much keep to himself?
I've spoken to him during games before, yeah.
But is he chewing you out or telling you great job, or just talking strategies?
Talking business, football business,
football
whatever's
business.
going on.
Yeah, whatever's going on. Yeah. You ever been chewed out by the coach?
I've been chewed out plenty of times.
Yeah, okay.
Plenty of coaches.
I've been chewed up by my boss, too, so we got that in common. That's about the only thing. Hey, thanks for coming by. We appreciate that. Continued success in your individual career and with the team this year. Hopefully you'll make the playoffs. It's Brian O'Neill of Vikings. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. Stop by Shields and donate toys for Tots. I want to thank all the people that have donated here during the noon to 3 hour. We have a reputation here, the Tough Love Covenant. We have a reputation here in the Tough Love Covenant for donation of toys, so we appreciate that. Big Ticket and JGR next here on The Fan.